What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by AutoTopNL. My name is Max, and today is the day we are going to review our own Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG. It's been a while. I know some of you have seen it here and there in videos, in Instagram posts, but we just never got around to filming our own car. So today I'm going to show you around it. I'm going to tell you a bit about the car, of course, and why we decided to buy it. And then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. All right, so the E55 Combi is what it is called because it is the station wagon variant. W211 or S211 for the station wagon was built. This E55 was built between 2003 and 2006, and that's also why it has a special place in both Martijn's and my own heart, because we were 13 to 16 basically when this car was built, and that is sort of the time we really started getting into cars and really knowing a lot about it. And you know, our car love really, it was always there, but it started to develop even more. I mean, this car, even today, is still a freaking beast. So yeah, I'm super happy we bought it. We bought it because we have the M3 that Martijn drives, and we now have the Ferrari, which I drive. But we also needed a car that was a bit cheaper to run, basically. You know, especially price per kilometer, insurance, road tax, stuff like that. So we decided to buy this car, and I am driving this privately as well. Well, it is a super nice car. It is in very good condition, I would say. This is a 2004 car, but we do have a couple of updates. So we have an E63 bumper. So that's a facelift bumper, because when the facelift happened in 2006, this car got the 6.2 naturally aspirated engine and also new bumpers, new wheels. So these wheels are from the E63 as well. And then we've got these updated mirrors as well, which is a nice upgrade, because the stock mirror, the 03-06 mirror, is a bit of a stumpy fella. This is a bit more modern. So that's really nice. 18-inch wheels, you get them as standard on the E55 as well, but as I said, this is an updated version. And then behind that we've got AMG brakes, 8-piston calipers at the front, 4-piston calipers at the rear, and these are super modern brakes. So it has a very trick system, electro-hydraulical brakes, and they're a bit of a pain apparently to repair and can be quite expensive to repair. And the brake pedal feels not great. You don't have a lot of feel of what it's doing, but braking performance is really good. So I'm really happy about that. Then we've got the V8 compressor badge right there, of course. We've got privacy glass. The previous owner had them tinted. Roof rails as well. And then at the rear, of course, the legendary quad tailpipe, the real AMG stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. This is such an iconic rear end, if you ask me. The S211, apparently not many of these have been made. I don't know the exact number. I know that only 200 of them went to the US, and apparently there are 1444. I read that somewhere in the world, but I don't know, that seems like a very low number. So optional extras, what do we have? We have, that's not what I wanted to show you. This is where the spare wheel is, but what we do have, the weirdest option ever on a car, is that we've got an electrically operated floor. So this extends, making it more easy for you to put your groceries here, I guess. By that much, it's a bit higher. Okay, so you put your, I don't know, your case of beer here on there, and then you... Why? That is so weird. That is so weird. I absolutely love it. I don't get me wrong, I think it's super cool and I show it to people every chance I get. But why? And then we've also got the protective plastic still on this car. I don't know if that's because this has been replaced at some point. But why don't we take it off in the video? That's why we left it on there. So that should be completely brand new underneath. Okay, was this a good idea? I don't think so. Oh, fuck me. Okay. I was expecting it to come off like it does on your phone screen, right? But it doesn't. So other than that, I mean, it is a massive loading bay, electrically operated. Very cool. I wanted to show you the rear as well. So in the rear, we've got heated seats, heated rear seats, which is an option. Don't see that too often. Space is okay. It's not as big as you would expect, but the seats are super nice. It is very comfy, leather everywhere, wood, ashtray. Yeah, super cool. By xenon headlights, also optional. Very nice to have. And of course the 3-pointed star. Alrighty. Now, the engine. The M113K engine. So this is the 5.4 liter supercharged V8 with 476 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. Now this, back in the day, was a hell of a lot of power. Oh, I need to clean all those leaves out. I'll do that later today. That was a hell of a lot of power. I mean, the E39 had 400 horsepower, if I'm not mistaken, and the Audi RS6 C5 had 450 horsepower. So this was the most powerful one. It's still powerful today. I mean, it is a really fast car, and it surprises me quite often. We did a couple of trips already to Stuttgart, and so on the Autobahn, 200 plus, a lot of stuff, and it just it does it so easily, and it doesn't give a peep. It did once when we tried to go over to 30. It started to limit the power apparently, and that turned out to be a coolant pump for the supercharger. So we had that fixed, and now it's running like a dream again. So this is actually quite a rare car because it's a one production run engine. So the W210, which was before this car, had the 5.4 liter, so this engine without the supercharger, and then, as I said, the facelift version got the 6.2. So these 4 years are the only 4 years that this engine was in this car. That makes it quite rare. Now this engine is also in the SL55, of course, in the CLK DTM, but also in its base form in the SLR, which is of course super awesome. This is an IHI supercharger, by the way, and it's linked to a 5-speed AMG speed shift gearbox, which is an AMG specific gearbox, and so it has been changed for this car specifically, and it's also in a Porsche 996 turbo and 997 turbo. Pretty cool, right? There's even apparently a 3-pointed star logo on the gearbox in the Porsche, so that's pretty awesome. Now in here, I really love this interior. So I have to say that this car's been taken care of so well, and that does make a difference, because all the leather all around the car, it just looks like it's brand new. The adjustable headrests, everything with the AMG badge right there, all the ruffles in here, everything looks so cool. And then we've got that wood all across the car, absolutely delicious. Down here as well on the center console, not a scratch on it, absolutely delicious. And then we've got one of the best instrument clusters ever on a car. I really love this, with the white face and the big digital speedo in the center, then the rev counter on the right, and the clock with an AMG logo on the left. It's just super simple, but it's so beautiful with that silver outline and the silver background as well. Very nice. And then we've got this aftermarket system in here, which is absolutely rubbish. We do have a rear view camera, which is part of this system. And of course, as you saw, the engine start stop button. We have keyless go and entry, which is also pretty insane for a 17-year-old car. And that's basically the theme of this car. I drive this car quite a lot, and until now I've never really missed anything. Everything is on here. We've got heated seats and ventilated seats. We've got cruise control. We've got bi-xenon headlights. I mean, yeah, basically everything is on here, and it all works really well and it feels really good. So I'm super stoked that we bought this car, because I think it's just an iconic car, and I mean, it really didn't disappoint. Now we also have some storage space here. So this right button is a little cubby, and then if you pull the left button you get the big cubby, which houses our build sheet. So this is all the stuff that this car left the factory with, which means that we can actually see that it is a 2004 car, even though it's listed as a 2005 on the license plate, but it is a 2004. Brilliant silver metallic, leather, anthracite, and then we've got, let me check, where is it? So we've got all the optional extras here. I'll try to name a few. We've got aromatic air suspension, of course, as standard I think on the AMG, but with 2 settings for the stiffness of the dampers. Well, 3 settings, and of course a lift button. You can see that right there. Bi-xenon headlights, as I said. We've got a fire extinguisher down here in this little secret storage. Very cool. You can also keep your expensive watches there, or necklaces. No one will know it's there. And then we've got here 849L Kuwait. So this car originally was meant for Kuwait. I don't know if it went there. And then we've got ASEAN here, which is Asia in German. That's kind of strange, because we do know that this car was in Japan at some point, because we've got a remote here, a Pioneer remote with Japanese written on it, and the instruction manual and all that stuff is also in Japanese. So this car has had a life before we had it, and we bought it at 81,000 kilometers. But again, it just feels like new. It is amazing. Of course, we did have a couple of things. We got it freshened up, and as I said, we had that supercharger coolant pump failure, and we fixed that, and it was like a 600 euro bill for a couple of fixes, mainly that supercharger coolant pump. So everything else, the air suspension, the engine, the gearbox, it all feels super nice. I do know that the previous owner also had the gearbox flushed, so yeah, it's been taken care of well, and you really do feel that. Now we also have the most awesome cup holder ever. If you open that, and then we've got a button right there, open, click that, and it magically appears, and then you've got one cup holder here and then one there, which is pretty smart, and you just close it like that. Apparently they break really easily, and they are hard to replace, so don't break it. Don't break it. Other than that, we've got, what do we have? We've got the window wipers, the rear window wiper. We've got that button right there, and then the washer there, which is a bit strange. Why isn't that on the stalk? Don't know. But I like those kind of weird things. And of course, we've got the 3-pointed star in the front, which I don't know why, but I really like that. That view of that star there, it just it does something to you. I don't know what it is. All right, so let's go for sport mode for the gearbox. So that's this button right there, and then we've got the air suspension, damper settings right there, Sport 1, Sport 2. So this is the most stiff setting, the most sporty setting. And then let's do a launch from 0 to 100, which it is supposed to do in 4.7 seconds. Oh, and it still does. Martijn was able to do a 4.6 second 0 to 100 run. 4.6 seconds. It is a tenth of a second quicker than it should have been when it rolled out of the factory, and it is 17 years later. I mean, how impressive is that? Yeah, it just blows my mind. This car is so good. It's been built so well, and everything is still in perfect condition. I absolutely love it. So the driving experience of this car, I mean, putting it in sport mode, I shouldn't do that. Let's put it back in comfort and suspension as well. This is how this car should be driven. Comfort mode, air suspension in the softest setting. It is mega comfy. It is really amazing. Sound, we've also got that. So we've got a nice AMG growl from the exhaust, even though it's not that loud in here. But there is some sound on the outside. And then you've got a little bit of a supercharger whine at the front, but that's not too loud either. But it really is that super comfy suspension, gearbox, and then that torque, 700 Newton meters, which... Oh, that was that second gear? I think so. Okay, so 700 Newton meters of torque is enough to spin the wheels quite easily. I mean, you can drift it, you can do a little bit of a burnout, and then the traction control, the ESP says nope, and it starts flashing, and it just turns itself on again. So it's a bit weird. You can't turn it off altogether, which is a shame. So after this car, basically when the facelift happened, the E63 came, the 6.2 liter came, and the AMGs got much crazier than this. This is a very civilized car, basically, I would say. It is quite understated, which I really love. If you see someone looking at this car or giving you a thumbs up or giving you a nod or whatever, you know that they know that this is an awesome E55 AMG. But 99% of people just think it's an E-Class estate, and I really love that. It's very inconspicuous. And our car has those bumpers and the wheels. I mean, the regular E55, the normal stock one, just has regular bumpers and less obvious AMG wheels. But look at this. I mean, this is 17 years old, and this is the limiter, 250 kilometers an hour, GPS on the nose, 250. It is super comfortable. It's quiet. It does it so easily. It is absolutely amazing. I love this car to bits. Honestly, I think it's amazing that this car is this good still, and is still this fast. We measured a 100 to 200 kilometer an hour run in 9.39 seconds, which is ridiculously fast. That's faster than a CLA 45. It's faster than an A45S. It's faster than a GLC 63. It's faster than a GLE 63. Those are all new AMGs, and this 17-year-old beast is quicker. I mean, that just blows my mind. And the cool thing about these older cars is that they immediately, you bond with them so much more than you do with modern cars. You immediately, what is that term, anthropomorphize or something like that, you know, you give it a personality, and that's just so nice. It means that you can take a lot more from the car as well, maintenance wise and fuel consumption wise, which is a good thing because this car will drink up its fuel quite quickly. It is a very thirsty bugger. So let me check. So this trip today from my house basically to here, 160 kilometers, we've averaged 21 liters per 100 kilometers. And we have another one which is a bigger trip. Where is that? This one, 7,700 kilometers, 14.4 liters per 100 kilometers, which that is actually not bad. But as soon as you touch the throttle, it goes really quickly. It drains the tank. But I mean, you get a lot of return as well. So that 700 Newton meters of torque is available from 2650 RPM. So that means that if you floor it, now it does shift down. But it hardly ever shifts down a gear, which is so nice. You've got that 5-speed. Oh man, it pulls so hard. There we go again, that's the limiter. It's amazing. Think about this. Think about how quick this car is right now. And then think about the fact that this came out in 2003. I mean, it had to be absolutely mental back then, having this station wagon with this supercharged V8 that's this quick, 4.6 to 100. 9.39, 100 to 200. I think you would have given a lot of supercars a run for their money. So the gearbox, as I said, it's a 5-speed. It's great if you just leave it in comfort mode. You can switch it to sport mode. The main thing they changed about this is that they fortified the gearbox and that they changed some of the parameters to downshift in corners and to feel less slushy. So that means that on power, if you shift down, let's do that, 3rd gear. So in gear, I meant full throttle, and it responds much more quickly than the same gearbox in a regular E-Class. So around the same time, 2003, Mercedes also came with the 7G Tronic 7-speed gearbox, but that gearbox was rated at 735 Newton meters, while this old beast is rated at a maximum of 1080 Newton meters of torque. That's also why this gearbox is in the S65 with the V12, which came a little bit later as well. That's the same gearbox. This is a really strong gearbox. And this car actually was the fastest, the W211, so the sedan version was the fastest sedan you could buy at the time. It was a lot of things, this car, and it still is, and it still manages to impress us every time we drive it. And I really, really love that about it. So that's it. That's our E55 AMG from 2004. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. I will try to answer a couple of them. And make sure you're subscribed by clicking the big button. You can check out this video on the right or check out this playlist on the left. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.